everybody, it's Patricia and welcome back to my channel. It's time for a chatty get ready with me. If you're new to my channel, what I do is I put my makeup on and we just talk. That's it. So I've already done my skincare and I put my primer on. I did not bring an eye primer. I didn't feel like getting up and getting another one, so we're going to use concealer today. No big deal. Alright, let's get started. I told you last week that I'll do story time. And so I was thinking about my aunts, and I know a lot of my friends love to hear the stories about my family. I come from a large family. I do. I have, personally, I'm one of 11. But I'm an only child. So let me explain that one to you. I am the only child of my mother and my father together as a couple. So I have siblings that I share a mother and siblings I share a father. More siblings that I share a father than I do a mother. I have two siblings that I share a mother with. My sister has passed away of breast cancer, and that was before my mother even passed away, so it's been a while. And then I have a brother, my only brother, and he is my eldest sibling out of all of my siblings. And so yeah, I have a brother. The rest are girls, and we're spread out everywhere. We're in North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. So, but I thought today I would talk about my mom's siblings, basically her two youngest sisters. My mom was one of 7. She was the second to the oldest and the oldest girl. I have my Uncle Charles was older than my mom. Now all of my mom's siblings and my mother have passed away, and nobody's left. They're all gone. So my poor grandma, my grandmother was, I loved her to death. I love my grandma. She had 5 children in diapers at one time. My grandmother had my Uncle Charles, then she had my mom, and then she had my Aunt Helen. Then she had twin boys, then turned around and had twin girls, back to back. So, yeah, 5 in diapers at one time. That is rough. So, with no help, basically. No help. So, I want to tell you some stories of my Aunt Peggy and my Aunt Bobby. Specifically my Aunt Peg. She's the one that, oh my gosh. Yeah, we're going to tell stories about her. Okay, well, they were twins. Peggy and Bobby. They were not identical. But they were close and did everything together. Well, basically, my Aunt Peggy, and I hope I'm not offending anybody in my family who probably don't even watch this video, but my Aunt Peggy, she was the baby. Even though she was a twin, she was treated like the baby, and she liked to be the center of attention. And anything any of her other siblings did or had, she had to have it too. It had to go both, she had to have it as well. So, especially her twin. So, my Aunt Peggy wanted a fish aquarium, just like my Aunt Bobby had at her house. So, my Aunt Bobby said, let's go to the store. I believe it was Kmart at the time, and I'll show you what we got. So if that's what you want to get, So they went to Kmart, and they were looking at the fish aquariums and at the fish, but my Aunt Peggy, out of the corner of her eye, saw a box. And the box had written on the side, it was from Florida, and it said, live alligators from Florida. Now, why Kmart would have a box with live alligators from Florida. I don't know. But my Aunt Peggy was really paying attention to that. Well, all of a sudden, an employee opened the box and something flew out and hit my Aunt Peggy, and she fell. And she thought it was alligator. It was parakeet. But she messed her pants so bad they had to let her out the back door of Kmart. Because she, yeah, it was bad. That was my first story, my Aunt Peggy. Second story, my Aunt Peggy with my Aunt Bobby. My Aunt Peggy, she always had problems with her feet, apparently. And she would go over to my Aunt Bobby's house, and my Aunt Bobby would basically give her like a pedicure, you know. So it was winter time, and she went to Bobby's house to get her pedicure. And instead of, she had on pantyhose, and so instead of taking off the pantyhose, they just cut the feet out, but left a little in the back so they could slip the pantyhose back on, just so she could wear them with her boots and go home. So, sounds reasonable, right? To get to my Aunt Peggy's house, once you get to her house, you have to take 3 steps down. You would open the gate, and then there was a walkway, and then you go up the porch. Well, it was winter. It was icy, so my aunt took the 3 steps down, opened the gate, started walking, and her feet slipped out from under her, and she fell. Well, it was a pretty bad fall, so they had to take her to the hospital. Well, they called my Aunt Bobby. My Aunt Bobby rushed up to the hospital, and they get my Aunt Peggy back to see the doctor, and my Aunt Bobby goes with them, and they have to carefully take her boots off. Both ankles are swelling up. I don't remember exactly what happened. I mean, you know, I don't remember if bones were broken or what, but I do remember they had to take her boots off. And when they did, the pantyhose, the foot part, just came out and dangled. And the nurse said, "Oh my Lord, she hit so hard, she knocked her out of her pantyhose." Well, then my Aunt Bobby started laughing. They thought she was crying hysterically. They're trying to comfort her. And the whole time my Aunt Peggy's in agony with her feet. So, that's story number 2 of my Aunt Peggy. Story number 3 is a small one. Back in the 70s, when we first started getting the automatic doors, my Aunt Peggy went to the grocery store. She went to push the door open, and when she did, the door opened itself, and she fell like she was sliding into home base. She slid right into the grocery store, got up and went right out the other door, and she refused to step foot back in that grocery store ever again, because I'm sure she was afraid they would remember her. They probably would have. So that's the funny stories of my Aunt Peggy. She was quite a pill, quite a card, quite a legend in our family. She's done so many things that I don't want to talk about, that were not so nice, and doesn't put her in such a flattering position, but yeah, she was something else. She was something else. Did I ever tell you about my grandmother? My grandmother, my mom's mom, she had the 7 children. When she had her twin boys, my uncles Harold and Carol, while she was pregnant with them, she was hoeing the garden, and the hoe slipped and it jammed in her stomach. Well, when my uncles were born, my Uncle Carol was born with some sort of mental issues. He never learned to read or write. He did learn to make some kind of a signature, but he did learn money. He knew all about money, and man, he could make money. He would go to the farmer's market, and guys would pay him to sit with the trucks all night so no one would steal their produce, and he'd get paid for that. And that's a pretty good job, you know. He did that all on his own. I'll tell you a story of my grandma. When, this is before I was born. As you know, my mother was 42 when I was born, so a lot happened in my family way before I was born. But anyway, my uncle Carol loved to go out and eat breakfast, and I don't know why, but he was always going out. And so my grandma says, now you can have a perfectly good breakfast here. I cook breakfast every morning. You need to stay home and not spend your money going out to eat. So what she did was she set up a toy cash register in the kitchen, and she said, you have to pay me now. So she set it up so he would eat his breakfast and pay my grandma, and then she just give it right back to him. So yeah, the funny things we do. But anyway, let me put some concealer on my eyes. But that grandma had the 7 children, and I'll call him my grandfather, the biological grandfather. He wanted my grandma to put my uncle in a institution, and she wouldn't, so he left her. And she had to raise those kids on her own, and she did a damn good job, let me tell you. She did an excellent job without any help. My grandmother was widowed she was orphaned. Her father died when she was 6 months old. Her mother remarried, had a daughter, and then was pregnant with twins. There's lots of twins in my family, by the way. She was pregnant with twins, and my great-grandma, and she had complications and died, and the twins died in childbirth. And that left my grandma an orphan, I think around 8 or 9 years old. Yeah, it's crazy. I miscarried twins, so there is twins. I have 2 sets of twin sisters. My first set of twin sisters, they're out there on my dad's side. Dad's side, mom's side, twins everywhere. But the first set were born in 44. And Virginia lived 3 weeks, and Vivian lived to be about 3.5 years old. I don't know if they were identical or not, but now my twin sisters Alice and son, or Allison. It's Alice and Allison. We called her son. They're identical twins. Son passed away a couple of years ago. Those of you who've been with me, you know about son. And I don't know, if you've never had a big family, within a big family, people tend to gravitate. You have like little subplots going on. I don't know how to explain it. But like my big sis that I attached to was son. So it was quite difficult for me when she passed away. And it was so sudden. I remember she called me to tell me that there was a problem with her heart that they believe was caused by childhood illness that was never caught or never seen about, or they don't know. She was going to have a valve replaced, and she told me not to come to the hospital, that Alice would call me, and she would see me after, and she told me she loved me. That's the last time I talked to her. She got through the operation okay, and then in recovery she coded, and they brought her back, but then after a couple days on machines, she was brain dead. We let her go. Yeah, it was really hard. That was hard. I have lost 4 sisters in total. 2 I never met. And then the 2 oldest were the twins, Vivian and Virginia. And then Gail and Allison, which are also the next oldest down. Okay. I'm going to use my pumpkin spice palette. That's enough story time about my families. We'll get into my family more. I got some stuff to tell you, but first I got to figure out what I'm going to do with my eyes. I think I'm going to go with a mauvey purple look. I don't want to... Yeah, let's go purple today. Why not? Okay. Remember, a couple weeks ago, the big boom and the police going next door. And then last week I told you, well, I thought it was a construction thing. I don't know. The police have been back twice. What's going on? I don't know. We've had no fire department and no ambulances, but we have had the police back. That's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'd love to know the story behind that. Could be the construction. Could be something else. I don't know. And the lady next door, they're in their, I would say, mid to late 20s. They can't, I don't believe they're even in their 30s yet. They're a young couple. I didn't tell you guys that. They're a young couple. I got a young couple here and a young guy there. And so they're a young couple. And I would see them when all this pandemic hit. They walked together as a couple. I would see them out walking. Well, now I just see her running. I'll see her jogging. I don't see him, so I don't know. I don't know what's going on. It's very, very interesting. And inquiring minds definitely want to know. I want to know what's going on. But, yeah. Very interesting. So, I just thought I would give you guys a heads up on that one. I'll keep my eyes open. Actually, it's Nathan. Nathan's good. Nathan will go out and pretend to get the mail. And he'll take the dog and pretend to walk the dog. Well, he actually walks the dog, but, you know, he's just doing it to be nosy, see what's going on next door. I've trained him well. I had to teach him to turn the lights off in the living room. If you're going to stare out the window, you don't want anybody to see you. You have to be careful. Yeah. Oh, Nathan's got all our Halloween up that I'm going to put up, which I didn't do a whole lot. I took my library table and I cleaned it off. I do it every year, and then Nathan puts his that Lemax Spooky Town Village. He puts his pieces up and sets it up. And this year we got the Gourd Pub and Grill. It's got 2 jack-o'-lanterns on top that move around. This one has sound and music. We have a couple pieces that have sound and music, and it's got all the lights. And so, but it makes a noise. The pumpkin, there's one pumpkin that spins quick back and forth, and that makes a little noise, and he can't, that doesn't work. So it stays off mainly, because that sound, people with autism, they get sounds all equally. Like I got the fan on. I can ignore the fan. I can ignore background noises, where he doesn't always. It all comes in at the same volume to him, and it's hard sometimes. It was much harder when he was a child. He has learned so much to cope with it. But just that switching noise back and forth, I can let it just blend into the background, but he can't. So we turn it on at night when it looks its best. And then I took the, I have a chest, what would you call it? It's a desk. It's actually a desk. That's what it is. It's got drawers. It goes all the way down like a chest of drawers. It's an antique piece. But it has the desk that pulls out. You can pull the things out and then pull the desk out, and it just kind of holds it. So it is technically a desk with drawers all the way down. I have it by my entrance, my front door, with a mirror over top of it. And I have a wreath over the mirror, and I keep the wreath up years round. It's a wooden, it's not like, I'm talking and not putting eyeshadows on because I have to talk with my hands. It's like twigs, a bunch of twigs, and then it has red berries. So it kind of goes year round. I keep that up. But I cleaned off the top and I put, let's see, I'm going to put more purple. And I put a few things up. I put a sign that said Hocus Pocus and some cauldron mug I have, and another cauldron that's a cat kind of thing I picked up somewhere. I don't know where. My few candles. A little pumpkin skeleton. It's a skeleton with pumpkin head. Just a few things like that. A few little things. It's more cutesy. And I just have that by the door. And that's all I've done this year. And that's all I plan on doing. Fallout of that purple shadow. That's all I plan on doing this year. So that's the extent of my Halloween. I haven't even put any wreaths outside. I didn't decorate outside. Monica put her scarecrows up. Well, I should say Carl. Carl put his scarecrows up. Carl's in charge of the outside. Monica's in charge of the inside. They told me so. Carl does the outside. Monica does the inside. So Carl's got scarecrows up. They're cute. He puts them up every year. I think that's all he has up though. Scarecrows on the front porch. But I don't have anything on my front porch. In fact, I need a lot of... I have a wisteria vine that grows up the post and covers over my front porch. And it needs to be trimmed back. Right now it looks like jungle. But my husband kind of likes it. But from the street, the curb appeal is horrible right now. My house's curb appeal is horrible. And I don't really see it. I don't even, go anywhere. So I'm not driving in and out. Brian likes it because he can sit on the front porch and nobody basically can see him. Okay, I want some... Boy, this is just all dark purple. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We'll put more purple under my eye. Oh, I didn't zoom you guys in. See, I'm forgetting again. Let me zoom you in. So you can see I'm just putting purple on. Basically, I've just put purple everywhere. Guys, are you tired of political phone calls and texts and emails? I've stopped answering my phone. I have caller ID, which probably everybody has caller ID. My home phone has caller ID, and if I don't know who it is, I don't answer it. You can, if it's important, you leave me a message. If it's not important enough for you to leave me a message, then it's not important. I think it looks pretty good. What am I going to do? Are you going to... Maybe if I wet this, I'm going to wet my brush and try to get some shiny purple on. From the palette, I want it. I might not achieve the look I want from the shadows in the palette. I'll try. Oh, it looks pretty good. I'll just put that all over. It's not as shiny as I would like, but pretty good. Anything else going on? There's not a lot going on. It's pretty quiet. It's raining today, so there's no construction work going on, which I am glad of. My husband's been working overtime. They are not back to full schedule yet. At his job. So he's still Monday through Friday and doing like a second shift kind of thing. He would work from, he's been going in around 1 to 9, but they're backing up, so he'll go in at 12 to 9, getting a little bit overtime, and he's been working Saturdays. He worked over an hour last night. This week, his partner, Pam, is on vacation. So Brian is working just days. He's working 7 to 3. But yesterday he worked till 5. So I don't know if he's going to do that today. I don't really know. I am going to take this Oh My Gourd, which is a pretty mauve pink shimmer, and put that on my inner corner. There we go. And because I want my eyes to stand out more, I'm going into my shadow that's in my Pretty Random, my JD Glow. What's this called? White gold. I'm going to take some white gold and pop it in the center. I guess this is my signature look. I always put a shimmer in the center. A bright shimmer in the center. There we go. That wasn't too bad, was it? Let's take it back out. I'm going to throw on some liner and mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright, got that done. Not too bad. It's just purple. Basically, 3 shades? 2 shades? Wow. Okay, now, I pulled out my Hourglass palette. Does this have a number? The Ambient Volume 4. Got this Christmas time a couple years ago. So I'm going to get my bronzer, my blush, and my highlight all out of this palette. I really like the bronzer in here. Would I buy another one of these palettes? I don't know. I might, but not until this one's gone. They're very expensive. I think this was $80 for this palette. Yeah. I don't know. I do like it though. I like the Hourglass powders a lot. Now, I'm going to go with the purple blush. What's its name? Euphoric Fusion. It's that one. Since I'm wearing purple on my eyes, let's see what this turns out. Oh, a dear friend of mine has COVID. And so if everybody would just kind of remember her, and hopefully she won't get it, it won't be real bad, and it'll be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Finishing powder. Strobe light. Okay. Finding the highlighter in here. There we go. So let's just remember everybody who's got COVID and dealing with COVID, and it just is hitting closer and closer to home. It scares me. I really don't want it. I really don't. And now my lips, I thought since I used the pumpkin spice palette, I would use the pumpkin spice lip. And to go with it, I pulled out the Huda lip liner in Spice Girl. So let me get my lips drawn. Can you see? Do I need to? Let's see. Maybe that'll help a little. I had my tripod pretty high. Ooh, that's good. Alright, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. I think that looks pretty good. So guys, thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any comments, just leave them down below. And if you're new to my channel, I would love it if you would subscribe. And I'm going to say this, for the 2 people who keep giving me a thumbs down, thank you, because YouTube doesn't care if it's up or down. Thank you very much. So guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.